Well, he drives the Candy Apple Red number 94 sprint car. Bubba DeCaires is our next guest on Dave's Home Supply, getting up to speed. In this interview, the Elk Grove, California native talks about his start in racing, watching his father race throughout the years, and road course karts is where things began for Bubba. Very interesting. That and more after these messages. Dave's Home Supply specializes in cabinets, flooring, and countertops. Visit their website at daveshomesupply.com to look at products, services, financing, and even a free estimate. Are you looking for bookkeeping, payroll, or income tax services? Then check out the folks at For You Simple Bookkeeping. They are a licensed tax preparer throughout the entire United States. For more information, click on the link in the description. This broadcast is brought to you by Meat Freaks Jerky Club. Get the best jerky the world has to offer straight to your door by visiting meatfreaksjerkyclub.com. Pick your box and plan, tell them where to ship, and receive and enjoy. Log on to meatfreaksjerky.com and use promo code SPEED. Me on the phone. He drives the number 94 sprint car out of Elk Grove, California. It's Bubba DeCaires. And Bubba, great to have you on here for this interview so some folks can get to know all about you.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm glad to be here and talking with you.
Well, it's always a pleasure to talk with you. You guys, when I say you guys, your family, rather historic in Northern California. For you, I'm trying to think, how many years have you been doing it in 360 sprint cars? First time I saw you was 2020.
I believe my first year was 2018. I got to race the 4SA for Dale Miller about 8 times after my dad retired from his car.
Okay.
So about 5 years now.
Okay, and you primarily race at Placerville, but you do occasionally venture to some some different places. Your last race that you had, you finished 8th at King Speedway in Hanford on September 14th.
Yeah, we're only about 45 minutes away from Placerville, so we go there a lot. But we definitely like venturing out and going to Tulare and Hanford and Chico, and wish those places would race a little more often so we could venture out there more. No, but it's just how it is.
No doubt. And yeah, one of the other places I saw you was Silver Dollar for Speed Week. Obviously, they have a big race coming up this weekend for Fall Nationals.
Yeah, that race means a lot to me because Stephen Aller's pretty close to me and my family, and he was best friends with my uncle, so he was kind of like an uncle to me. And definitely a race we want to do good at this weekend.
Yeah, and I think it's really cool that after his unfortunate passing, your dad drove the Dale Miller 4SA, and then obviously you got a chance to do that. So kind of a really cool connection there for your family and his.
Yeah, that ride came with Dale at a good time for my dad. And it was pretty fortunate for me to be able to get my first laps in a 360 in it as well, and it definitely meant a lot to our whole family.
No doubt. And for folks that aren't sure what car we're referring to, the Dale Miller 4SA, Justin Sanders has driven it, actually won it a couple times this year. This year there's been a couple different drivers. Willie Croft was in it for a little bit, there's been a handful of drivers in it this season. It's been a wild and crazy 2023, but yeah, Bubba's dad, Greg, was in it for quite some time.
Yeah, I think my dad got in it around 2013 or so, maybe a little bit earlier. And they got a couple of championships and about 20 wins over about 4 or 5 years.
Well,
so had a lot of success there.
Well, something kind of cool, and I didn't tell you this off air, so this is a surprise, kind of. So I've been collecting these World of Outlaw trading cards, and your dad actually has one in the 1991 set, I think. So it's pretty cool to find that he was in there along with a bunch of greats from California.
Yeah, I have that card as well. And yeah, my dad, he got to race for Tognotti's and Dennis Roth and Maury Williams right there in the early 90s. So probably about the time that card was made.
Yeah, no doubt. It's super cool. It's kind of super cool when you're flipping through a bunch of them, and it's like, wait a minute, I know this guy, or this guy's kid races. It's kind of a thing of like, wow, as big as sprint car racing is around the world, it's also very close knit family.
Yeah, it always comes full circle, and everyone comes back around and gets together again.
Yeah, yeah. Yes, no doubt. And also, I had this Jeff Gordon book talking about a lot of his sprint car days and everything. There's a picture of your dad and him unloading a quarter midget at the quarter. What would have been Capital
West
Quarter
Capitol, I believe. Or
Capital Quarter Midget Club in Sacramento area.
yeah. My dad and Jeff, they grew up together, and there's a page where it talks about my dad in there, and he had to do an interview with the author, the guy that put that book on. So they've been good friends for a while, and yeah, they grew up racing quarter midgets and always stayed in touch and good friends of ours.
Well, let's talk about you. I mean, obviously your family's been involved in racing, but for you, when did things start as far as pre-sprint cars? Was there a transition out of micro sprints or cage karts before you got in a full-size car?
Yeah, I raced road course go-karts when I was 6 until I was about 8. And then we kind of just didn't have the money or the funds to go racing anymore after that. And the Shaw family, they put me in their micro when I was about 13 years old. And I raced, micros until I was 18. And then that's when I got into 360s.
Awesome. So you raced a lot in the Central Valley then when it came to micro sprints.
Yeah, I first started out at Plaza Park, and we would go there basically every Friday, and then my dad would race Placervilles on Saturdays. So it would make for a long drive back and forth on Friday and Saturday, but it was definitely worth it for me to get my feet wet in something.
And then you get your feet wet, then you get rolling along in sprint car racing now. Was that a difficult transition for you to go from a 600 micro to a 360 cubic inch sprint car?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is just you're racing with people who have done it for 20 years, and it's definitely it definitely is different. The speed and just the track's feeling your wing a lot more. It's something hard to get used to a little bit, but we're getting there every race, and still looking for the first win, but I feel like we're headed in the right direction for sure.
Well, I think I had you down, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think I had you down for 3 career top 5s, but a really cool thing is that 2 of them have been obtained this year, both at Placerville, May 20th, a 4th place finish, and July 8th, a 5th place finish. So you guys definitely are kind of plugging away in the right direction in that regard.
Yeah, I feel like we've just been qualifying a little bit better, and that's what it takes. Nowadays, you really just need to qualify good to put yourself in good position to start up front in the mains, because it's definitely hard coming from the back. So many good cars now. Definitely want to be up there in the front at the beginning.
Well, and 14 starts this season, 6 of which have resulted in top 10 results, and that's about 50%. You finished 10th or better, and that's nothing to have any shame about or hang your head low on.
No, yeah, we've been doing okay, and it's definitely been a better year for us, I feel like, and we just want to keep it going to finish the year out.
No doubt. And then as far as the year's concerned, there's obviously a couple big weekends for 360 racing in California. What are the plans looking like for the 94 team?
Yeah, we got the Fall Nationals this weekend, and then the following week we're going to go to Tulare on that Saturday, and then we're going to go for our first Trophy Cup. It'll be my first time racing it. So it'll be a bit of a learning curve racing it for the first time. I feel like it's definitely a difficult event. Really just got to get qualified good and stay out of trouble, and you got to go forward in every race you're in, with it being passing points and finishing points. But we're up for the challenge, and hopefully we do good there.
And as 2023 starts to close down, has there been any plans starting to kind of swirl about for 2024, or is that way too early to tell?
No. I mean, for our family team, our goal this offseason, we definitely want to get a 410 and try and get some mark races under our belts, just a new challenge for us, and that would definitely get us to be able to travel a lot more and definitely just learn and get good speed, and then you can carry that back into the 360 and be better there. And that's our main goal this off season for our family team at least. But if something were to come up with another team, that would be great too. But nothing in the books like that as of now.
Well, I was gonna say, hopefully there's something in the future for maybe perhaps either in a 316 or a 410, a Pacific Northwest run up in my neck of the woods.
Yeah, no, we definitely would like to come up for those Oregon Speed Week. It's just a little difficult with work schedule for me and my dad, but it's definitely been on our minds these last couple of years to be able to go and do, and that would be cool to go up there and do something one of these days.
Well, speaking of things that are cool to do, Elk Grove, California, what would you say when you're not focused on racing or working on the car? What are some cool things to do around town?
Shoot, I don't know. Most of my time away from work, I'm just in the shop working on the car. But I'll go and hang out with my friends. I don't really like to golf, but I'll go sit on the golf cart and watch them play and just hang out with my buddies.
Be the chauffeur. Be the chauffeur on the racetrack and the chauffeur on the golf course.
Yep, usually the caddy.
There you go. Yeah. Don't ask me which club you should be using. I'll just get you there. So.
Yeah, I'm usually not the best caddy. I just get them there for sure.
Yeah, no doubt. Or ask me about distance too. I'm terrible at estimates like that.
Yeah.
But no, super, super cool. What do you think for you have been some standout memories as far as racing for you personally, where you felt like it doesn't have to be like your best finish or all, but what are some memorable moments? Maybe it's the first time getting in a sprint car or almost missing a big wreck. Anything come to mind right off the bat?
In high school, I got to work for Paul Silva my junior and senior year, and then so I got to do a lot of races with him and Kyle Larson and Rico, and then I carried my friendship on with Rico, and I've gotten to help him a lot. So I've just definitely got to be a part of a few wins with them, working on the team, and those are some good memories I've just kept forever. And I always thankful to Paul for all the stuff he's taught me, and with Rico as well, just helping him with when Drew Warner worked on the car and now Ricky works on it. I just always cherish the memories when I get to go and hang out with those guys.
Well, and it seems like the settings there they're professional. Obviously, it's intense when it's in work mode, but then once the checkered flag flies and the car's loaded up in the trailer, it seems like it's a pretty welcoming and friendly atmosphere.
Yeah, definitely. Just got a lot of friends around the track, and when we go home at the end of the day, we always stay in touch, and just good people to be around, and just glad to be a part of it.
So, are you telling your dad or any of your crew guys if you win here anytime soon that they need to ride a bicycle and flip it in victory lane?
Yeah, that would be pretty funny.
Yeah, no doubt. Racetracks that you've ran, Bubba, that you really seem like, whether it's you feel like you got a good grip on things, or what are some places that you think are a fun challenge, I should say, for you with only a couple years under your belt?
Yeah, Placerville is always a challenge because you never know what you're going to get, really, and the track changes so much throughout the night. It's just you really got to hit your marks on the bottom if you're on the bottom, and the top's always tricky with a big curb. But I really enjoy Tulare a lot. It's definitely a challenge in itself, just getting up against the wall and a lot faster pace, and I really enjoy going there. And I always feel like I learn something new when we're there.
Yeah, I know that I said in the interview, like it started off one of the first times I saw you. Well, actually, I think the first time I met you, I think I'd seen you race maybe a little bit before that, but was Antioch during the COVID year in 2020. And not only was that an interesting time, but it seemed like really for Northern California, it gave a lot of drivers such as yourself an opportunity kind of go to some new places that don't really run sprint cars that much.
Yeah. COVID was a weird weird year there where everyone just wanted to race in general, and it didn't matter payouts or tracks really. We just wanted to race, and yeah, Antioch was that was my first time there racing, and it's definitely a fun little place. I would love to go back there, and it was really cool.
Well, and I know that I had talked about this with Andy Forsberg. There was a period of time, so for some listeners that don't know, they might be in the Midwest or the East Coast, that there were tracks that would run on a certain day, and there were some weeks there where guys were racing 4 times a week, Thursday through Sunday or Wednesday through Saturday. It was kind of a pretty cool setup and got a lot, even though like the spring pretty much got KO'd and the summer kind of got stepped on a little bit. There was a lot of racing in California once guys kind of got their schedules together.
Yeah, definitely. We weren't too fortunate to be able to do the 4 days a week stuff, but when we can, it's definitely fortunate for it. Yeah, there was a lot of racing during that time, and it was definitely good for everybody to participate in.
Well, and not to put you on the spot again, you talked about, liking to come up for the Oregon Speed Week, but any other racetracks that are on your radar that you'd really like to get to in the next couple seasons and at least run there a few times?
Yeah, I would love to go up to Skagit. It looks like definitely a fun place to race at. Just the banking and the speed of it looks good, and the racing's always good on videos. And then just a couple just dream tracks. Some of my favorite that I would like to race at would be I really like Sharon when I've been there with Rico, and Port Royal is definitely up there on the list as well.
Sharon is becoming a track that I like to watch a lot on Dirt Vision, whether it's the Outlaws or All Stars. I guess that wouldn't be a Dirt Vision race, but they have the weekly competition there, and it races. It's kind of a wild card track. It's really good on the top, but Dave Blaney is the master rolling the bottom at that place.
Yeah, it's always you're either against the fence or the bottom slows down and it's fast enough to sneak under the guy on the top. It's always really slick, and I like it. 2 grooves, really. You can make both of them work and be fast.
Yeah, it was just before Labor Day weekend, I think. It was one of their Wednesday shows, and Brandon Spithaller went from 21st to, I don't know, 4th or yeah, I think it was 4th or something, and it was only 5 laps in. I'm like, my God, I thought he was going to win the race, and I don't know if he used his tires up or what exactly. He was actually at one point challenging Dave and Dale Blaney for the win, but just couldn't quite get it done. But that was pretty incredible.
Yeah, that track, it's definitely puts on good racing, and I always liked that. A couple years ago when Dave won his last outlaw race there. I think he came from pretty deep too, and he passed Sheldon a couple laps ago, and it was a pretty good one.
No doubt. Yeah. I mean, he's definitely somebody you don't want to discount in whatever he drives there for sure. But people that are helping you, individuals or sponsors that help you out with the 94 team, what are some of those folks out there that you can give a shout out to?
Yeah, my dad's definitely my right-hand man, and it's really just me and him working on the car. We have a couple guys that come when they can Blaine Kraft and Paul Countryman, just really good guys that help us out. And then sponsor-wise, we got Guy Morrison and Morrison Concrete. He's just been a lifelong friend of my dad's, and he's really good. He's been around racing forever, and he helps us with our motor stuff, just figuring stuff out, and it's definitely a huge help. And then Thompson's family dealerships, they've helped my dad for 15 years plus, and they've been on my car for the last 5 years, so they've just been a really, really big support of ours. And then we got Gus Carcion with Eldorado Hills Landscaping. He's a really big help of ours too.
Awesome. That's wonderful. And for people that want to look at maybe an upcoming schedule or results, or maybe if you guys have an apparel run going where they can order T-shirts or sweatshirts, is there a good website or is there a good social media page that folks can follow along for that information?
Yeah, PJ Peterson with the Peterson Media. He does all of my results and press releases. But we don't have any apparel yet. It's definitely something we want to do soon. So once we do get something, he'll have it posted up for us.
Awesome. Well, I wish the best of luck for you. I know obviously a couple big weeks coming up in California. It seems like, other places have the month of money. For California, it's kind of the months of money. As there's still some big paying shows with Fall Nationals and the tribute to Stephen Allard, and as well as Trophy Cup, of course, one of the biggest paying on the West Coast for 360s. I hope it all goes good for you.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it a lot.
Well, we'll also be definitely checking in on you as well throughout probably 2024, and hopefully, I'm hoping that we'll be having some good results of some podiums and maybe some wins also that you've notched in the column.
Yeah, that would be really something special if we could talk about that later on.
Well, that is going to do it for this interview. We hope you enjoyed it. Be sure and hit the like and subscribe button on whatever platform you found this interview at. It really helps us grow the channel, and we greatly appreciate it. In the meantime, we'll be back with more content and interviews in the future. Be sure and have a great evening or a great rest of your day, whatever time you're listening.